Louise Brooks, the rebellious beauty icon of the silent film era, vanished from Hollywood in 1940 without a trace. She once captivated America with her legendary bob haircut and those haunting sorrow-filled eyes. Yet few ever imagined that behind her glamorous facade was a private life filled with turmoil and secrets. More than 30 years later, a film historian accidentally stumbled upon her final whereabouts, and the truth left him absolutely shattered. Never before seen photos, torn and faded letters. Everything is finally being uncovered in this video. Watch it till the end too. Discover the secrets Hollywood tried to bury for decades. Louise Brooks was born on November 14th, 1906 in Cherryvale, Kansas, a small, sleepy town in the heart of the United States. Her father, Leonard Brooks, was a quiet lawyer who loved knowledge so much that he would spend hours in his study reading Greek philosophy. Her mother, Myra, was a free-spirited pianist who believed that music and art were the only escapes from the banality of life. Growing up in such an inspiring environment, Louise soon became a joyful and curious girl. But Louise's life was not all woven with peaceful notes. When she was only 9 years old, she was molested by a neighbor named Mr. Flowers. It was a horrifying memory, a scar that never healed. She never told anyone, only carrying the hurt and suspicion of love in her heart for the rest of her life. Louise later admitted that from that moment on, she no longer believed in gentleness because even the sweetest name can hide the darkest truth. Although Louise's mother often sang soothing tunes of Debussy and Ravel to her daughter, she was a strong-minded woman who wanted her daughter to be independent. When Louise was 10, her mother recognized her daughter's exceptional talent for dancing and encouraged her to pursue an artistic career, believing that the stage could be where Louise could regain her confidence. At age 11, Louise first stepped onto the stage of the local opera house with bright, blazing eyes and a body that flowed like silk. She left the audience breathless. People would later say Louise didn't just dance. She told stories with every movement. From that moment on, her name spread throughout the region. Louise left Kansas for New York City, the place of bright lights, opportunity, and the most unforgiving test for any dreamer. She joined the Danish Dance Company, the pioneering group of American modern dance. Under the guidance of Ted Shawn and Ruth Street Dennis, Louise quickly became a rising star full of promise. However, behind the applause and dazzling performances, a storm was building. Ruth Street Dennis, the company's co-founder, disliked Louise's stubborn and confident nature. Ruth believed the Kansas girl was nothing more than an arrogant child drunk on ambition. Tension escalated until one day, during rehearsal in front of dozens of dancers, Ruth coldly fired her. No explanation, only heavy silence and Louise's burning embarrassment amid whispered gossip. She left Danish with a shattered heart, yet refused to fall. Louise headed to Broadway, starting over in the George White Scandals productions, a show that had turned many performers into stars. She danced with the fury of someone who had once lost everything, and that fire made audiences unable to look away. By 1925, Louise was performing in the legendary Ziegfeld Follies. She was no longer the little girl from Kansas. On stage, Louise shone confident, seductive, and the embodiment of modern style. Hollywood took notice. Paramount Pictures producer Walter Wanger was captivated by her cool beauty and unreadable gaze. He invited her to sign a contract and soon began a secret affair with her despite already being married. Louise knew it was wrong, but love had never been simple for her. In the end, Paramount offered Louise a 5-year contract, opening a new chapter in her career. But if Louise thought this was her turning point towards superstardom, she was about to face a brutal shock. She was only 18 when the gaze of Charlie Chaplin, the most powerful man in cinema at the time, landed on her. Chaplin was 36, married, and so famous that any woman would have killed just to be in his orbit. Louise, young and fiery, flew toward that flame like a moth, unaware of just how badly she was going to get burned. They had a short summer together, full of passion and forbidden desire, where the line between art and lust dissolved completely. When Chaplin walked away, he left behind a scar that would never heal and a painful lesson about the power men held in the film industry. A few years later, Louise finally secured the role that would define her style in the film A Girl in Every Port. She wasn't just playing a flirtatious woman. She embodied seduction and rebellion. That sharp black bob grazing her jawline, those curled, defiant lips, that cold steel stare. Louise wasn't simply acting. She created a fashion revolution as women across America rushed to copy the Louise Brooks haircut. In the summer of 1926, she married director Eddie Sutherland. To Louise, marriage felt like a gilded cage. She despised restriction. She despised the idea of playing the beautiful wife once the spotlight dimmed. After only a year, she fell into the arms of millionaire George Marshall, a charming, generous, and dangerously tempting man. Their secret affair set Hollywood ablaze, and eventually she left Sutherland behind. On the night she walked away, a desperate Sutherland attempted suicide by taking sleeping pills. He survived, yet Louise's life was never the same again. Then came 1928, both her peak and the beginning of her downfall. During the filming of Beggars of Life, Louise witnessed the true face of Hollywood, ruthless and merciless. A vicious rumor spread, claiming she had contracted syphilis and passed it to producer Jack Pickford. It wasn't true, but the lie was enough to scorch her rising career. Overnight, the promising star became a pariah in every party room. Amid the storms of scandal and crushing loneliness, Louise threw herself into reckless affairs as if running from her own reflection. Her relationship with George Marshall dragged on, but whatever love once existed had long dissolved. Then one day, she met Peppy Lederer, the niece of actress Marion Davies, who was the mistress of newspaper tycoon William Randolph Hearst. Peppy was young, rebellious, and wild-spirited, just like Louise. They fell in love, a daring and forbidden romance in an era where homosexuality was seen as an unforgivable sin. When Hearst found out, he used his immense power to silence the truth. Peppy was forced into a psychiatric hospital under the claim of drug addiction. Just days later, she jumped from a hospital window to her death. Louise received the news in a daze, feeling as if a part of her soul had fallen with Peppy. That was a crack that would never heal. It marked the moment Louise began to despise Hollywood, a place where beauty was always built upon someone else's suffering. In 1929, when Paramount refused to increase her pay, Louise smirked coldly and said goodbye to America. She left for Europe, where art was honored and people were free to live by their emotions. When Louise Brooks arrived in Berlin, it marked the beginning of an entirely new chapter. Here, among the streets bathed in golden lamplight and jazz music flowing out of smoky bars, she was no longer judged by her beauty or rebellious persona. She was finally seen as a true artist. It was here that she met director George Wilhelm Pabst, the man who would turn Louise Brooks into a legend. The film Pandora's Box was born during the height of Germany's silent film era. Pabst saw something striking in Louise. He saw a soul that was complex, untamed, and heartbreakingly fragile. He cast her as Lulu, a seductive, free-spirited woman ultimately consumed by human desire. Right after that success, Pabst invited her to star in Diary of a Lost Girl. As her career crumbled later, offers faded. Columbia Pictures offered her a contract for $500 a week, but she refused to audition for a Western. They withdrew the offer. The few minor films that followed only accelerated her decline. By 1932, Louise Brooks was no longer a star. She was an unemployed former icon, surviving by performing in nightclubs. In 1938, she appeared in Overland Stage Raiders with John Wayne. The film flopped, and she gave up for good. The 1940s passed quietly. Yet in the years when the world had forgotten her, Louise Brooks became a symbol of defiance. Through her memoirs, she revealed a woman who dared to live on her own terms, even if the price was loneliness. From Berlin's lights to New York's shadows, Louise Brooks left behind something time could never erase.